100 years ago, William A. Scroggs, a member of the Oklahoma A&M College Band, set out to unite his fellow band members like never before.
Kappa Kappa Psi was founded November 27th, 1919 at Oklahoma A&M College here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, now called Oklahoma State University.
Under the inspiration of the band director at the time, who was Bohumla Makovsky. He was a self-taught immigrant band director. He inspired 10 of the students to create Kappa Kappa Psi. They wanted a fraternity that would honor music as an art, but also band directors and what they bring to the students that they teach.
They created this entity for two reasons. They believed in better music and better leadership in college bands, and they wanted a group that was dedicated to that.
What followed was 100 years of fraternity, fellowship, and the blossoming of a national honorary organization that remains to this day dedicated to the development of leadership and enthusiasm in college and university bands.
Tau Beta Sigma was actually founded on the campus of Texas Tech in Lubbock. In 1939, a local group of 3 women started a band club. And 7 years later, in 1946, it actually was turned over and incorporated in the state of Oklahoma. So in this time period, in the 7 years, they were actually trying to be an auxiliary of Kappa Kappa Psi. As the girls were becoming increasingly more in demand and more active, there was a big push to form their own organization instead of being an auxiliary. So A. Frank Martin did help them with that and looked into corporation laws. And to be incorporated in Texas, it was great, but they'd have to be separate and on their own and not working together with Kappa Kappa Psi. And they didn't want that at the time. They wanted to work collaboratively with them. So that's why they were incorporated here at Oklahoma A&M. They became the Alpha chapter, and Texas Tech is the Beta chapter and always known as our founding chapter.
Over time, we started integrating different types of people. In the beginning, there were military bands, and they didn't let a lot of Black people in those military bands. They weren't even allowed to go to those colleges. But then over the times, more people came in, more schools were more accepting of integrating. And as they integrated, more people of color started being part of the organization.
I think about really in the 70s when our organization was kind of faced with this identity crisis. Do we want to remain an all-male organization, or do we want and kind of go the route of social fraternities? Is that the route we want to take, or do we want to stay in this honor service kind of realm and become an all-gender organization? And what I love about our members at that time, they made the conscious decision to vote the way that our values aligned. They said, no, we're not just a social Greek organization. This is who we are. This is who we need to be and continue to be. And we're gonna open up our membership so that everybody can join. And it was just this phenomenal shift in who we were, but it was in line with that same drive of needing to improve and do better.
I thought my choices were TBS or nothing, because this was shortly after Title IX, and our groups had always been single gender, and Democrat had been there since 1926, and it was all guys. So the next day, one of the brothers came up and he said, well, why don't you join Kappa? And I said, isn't that for guys? So he started explaining about Title IX and so forth, and I wasn't really sold. I said, don't y'all belong to some national thing? Are they okay with this? And he said, actually there are a couple of other women who are going to do the same thing. This is not the same organization that I joined, and that's a really good thing. Fall of 2019 will be 40 years since I was initiated, and I'm working on a podium article, and so I've done some research for that, and for example, when I went to my first district convention, we had 13 active chapters in what was then District 9, what's now the Northeast. Now we have 40 couple. There was no hazing policy, no alcohol policy, really no risk management policies at all. We didn't have the caboose, we didn't have the station, we didn't have the awards that we have, we didn't have scholarships, we didn't have any of those things. And it has been really interesting to watch how the organization has grown and how we have become more focused on treating people with respect and developing leaders and doing that sort of thing.
When I first started as a member of the National Council, it still felt like an all-male group because the only people I saw were male. One thing that's exciting now, I'm finishing my final term on the Board of Trustees, and I've seen a number of women in a variety of places of leadership, as governors, as officers. We've had a female president after me. And I leave knowing that it's not a one-time thing, it's not a fluke, that women really are a part.
Today, KK Psi chapters can be found in over 200 colleges and universities across the country. And though it is certainly an honor to be selected to serve our bands, band directors, and music departments, our greatest honor is to serve alongside one another, to be brothers.
It's the people that make this fraternity who it is and what it is. It's all of those people that I've met at chapters across the country, at district conventions all across the country, national conventions, that have become lifelong friends.
You know, you think about a social fraternity, you know, it's about what that fraternity is going to do for me, you know, what kind of activities are we going to do, where can I live? It's a total reversal in Kappa Kappa Psi. It's not what can they do for me, but what can I do for you? And you know, when I'm going to my band room and I'm getting ready to set up chairs and 8 Kappa Kappa Psi kids see me walking that way and just take off behind me, you know, like, that's the big thing.
It's a family, it's a bond, it's unbreakable. I really believe that's what Kappa Kappa Psi, that's what our founders intended it to be, to push friendship to commitment, something beyond just your basic connection, your basic friendship. This is a family.
Kappa Kappa Psi is honored to celebrate 100 years of musicianship, leadership, service, and building lifelong friendships. But in the spirit of William Scroggs, A. Frank Martin, Bo Makovsky, and all of our charter members, we too look to the future and eagerly step up to the challenges we will face in the 100 years to come.
If there's anything that creates excitement for me and probably countless brothers throughout the country is where we go. Here we are 100 years later, and it's fun to sit back and think about the history and where we've been. But the most exciting part is about where we're going to go and the work that we're going to continue to see Kappa Kappa Psi create for our college and university bands.
A lot of times I will run into someone who said, I used to be a member of Kappa Kappa Psi, or when I was college, I used to be a member. You know, and I would prefer that people look at their membership, in the fraternity as a lifelong experience, you know. So it doesn't matter if you're brand new, it doesn't matter if you're 80 years old. You know, I would like everyone to say, I am a brother of Kappa Kappa Psi, I am a sister of Tau Beta Sigma. And so that's something that I hope to instill in people, is that it's more than just the exact state you're in right now.
As alumni, no matter how old you are, whether you're 25, 35, 45, or like I am right now, 55 and even older, you know, we once took a pledge, you know, or an oath, you know, to support college and university bands, you know, through the vehicle of Kappa Kappa Psi. Hopefully you're going to be an alumni a lot longer, you know, than you are an active.
The possibilities are really endless. we're always talking about, we're striving for the highest, we're going to bigger and better things. We're on a great path right now, and it's been a wonderful 100 years. So if we're always there for band programs moving forward, there's nowhere to go but up from here.
And that's hard work. Which is what I love about Kappa Kappa Psi. Like, all of these challenges that we have ahead of us, it's not like, okay, well, let's do 10 seconds of work and we'll be done. We got to do some serious work, some serious soul searching, and look very critically at what we do. And if we can't do that, then we're not worthy of being brothers. But if we can do that, it's going to mean making hard decisions. It's going to mean working hard. But that's what we've been doing for 100 years. So I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that and more for the next 100.